5 unanswered goals. 5 unanswered goals against the Ottawa Senators tonight. A 5-3 loss at the hands of the Nashville Predators. Welcome to the Postcast. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Jack Richardson and the Martian. And the Postcast is always brought to you by the Glebe Central Pub. Check out the GCP where the vibes are free. Find them at 779 Bank Street. Let them know that Locked On Senator sent you. And hop on the Sens shuttle this weekend. They got round-trip tickets for just $18 to and from the CTC. You can go see the Sens take on the Carolina Hurricanes and the Vegas Golden Knights. Jack, what'd you see tonight, buddy?
I saw lots of stuff, Ross. Lots of stuff that I liked at the beginning, about halfway through. And then you joined our watch party. I was feeling good. You left. And then I saw a lot of stuff I hated. A lot of stuff I didn't like. That is the most sickening loss I can remember witnessing for the Ottawa Senators. And the fact that that's a controversial statement, what I just said, is a problem. This team, man, I don't know where to start. Just a terrible night.
Well, let's start with trends, Martian. This is the third time in the last 4 games that the Sens have blown a multi-goal lead. How? Why?
Yeah, I mean, in the past, this season, we've been looking at it and pointing to the goaltending. And in this case, tonight, we can't really blame James Reimer. He made a lot of good saves. I know the numbers aren't really there for him, but I think he did his job there tonight. And just, the penalties coming over and over again, the lack of discipline, and the just the overall, I feel like the effort from a few guys who we really need, and they were just basically invisible tonight. And it just led to the, Nashville Predators feeding off their crowd and getting a lot of momentum in the third period and basically taking the boost to the Sens with 5 unanswered goals. It's not perfect.
No, discipline an issue too in this game. The Senators give up 5 power plays for the third time in 4 games. And would you look at that? In both, if not, 3 now of those games, they've allowed 2 goals in each of those. And those are the games they gave up multi-goal leads. So it kind of goes hand in hand. And look, say what you want about Nashville. They have been playing much better in the last 21 games now, but they've got elite talent on the power play. Steven Stamkos has been doing that for like 20 years, and 2 of his goals come on the power play. Third one bats it in out of midair. And I actually want to start on that one. And don't worry, we'll get into the coaching a little bit later. I can honestly say this is the first time I felt under head coach Travis Green that he might not be the guy. He might not be the guy. The analytics are good, but the way that he ran his bench tonight was just unacceptable. One of the mistakes, and it leads into the game-winning goal by Stamkos with a minute left. The other one's an empty net or whatever. At that point, the game's already lost. They had no momentum. Couldn't even get out of their own zone after allowing the go-ahead goal. But, boys, Nick Jensen going back, and I'm not a defenseman, but as a goalie, you want the puck out of your zone when you're tied and the other team has pressure. Like, Marshall, what is Jensen doing on that play?
He's not thinking. Actually, Jensen's a pretty smart player. This year, for whatever reason, he hasn't been making the right decisions in a lot of ways. All he had to do was just rim that puck around the boards hard, and that play is dead. Instead, he just makes a bonehead play, and it ends up with Nashville, and then they end up scoring on it. So it's like, this guy just needs to figure it out. And then, I mean, Ross, like, deployment-wise, too, like, what are they doing with Stephen Halliday? The guy looked like their best player in the first 2 periods. Every time he was on the ice, he was doing something. And, a lot of other guys weren't going. Like, I mean, you can point to a bunch of different names out there tonight, the big boys. And, you could easily just slot Halliday into one of their positions and try to get him out there a little bit more, because I felt like he was one of the few guys who actually had a little juice tonight. One silver lining in the game. I mean, he got his first NHL goal. That would be nice, something, to celebrate. And yeah, huge stick taps to Stephen Halliday. He finally got one. The disher. He could do more than just dish, Ross, as you said on Twitter earlier tonight. But it would be nice to, see Travis Green identify who's going and who's not and react accordingly. Instead, he just kind of goes back to his old ways and just plays Halliday not a lot. I don't know why. It's not like you can't trust the guy. He's been solid.
Yeah, he played 3:40 in the first period, 4 minutes in the second period, and then a minute 20 in the third period. 2 shifts, and one of them, he was the extra attacker with the goalie out. Like, how are you going to put a guy? Like, I have no problem with him being the extra attacker. He's offensive-minded. He can find seams. But, Jack, he had played 45 seconds in like an hour and a half of game time. It just feels like an absolute boneheaded decision to put him back out in that circumstance.
Yeah, everything, like, I can even start from the the minute Nashville made it 3-3, because that was quick. It was all like the 2 goals, the 2-0 that happened, which that's a whole other thing. How does a 2-0 happen after a rush from Stützle at the end of a 4-minute penalty kill? Also unacceptable. They got Chabot and Clevin out there together somehow. That was brutal, but the problem I have, it led up to that game winner. I think it was 5.5 minutes left. There were 2 TV timeouts before then. How do you not regroup? Get something, like find some legs. They had a power play, nothing. And that's when you, like, to me, like the 6-on-5 plays, it's just a throwaway. They had nothing. They didn't cross the red line until 30 seconds left. Like the inability for the top guys to kind of take over that game and just settle things down. Timmy did it a little bit, but they were shell-shocked. We saw it against Montreal. They had nothing in that overtime. It's the same thing, man. It's so concerning that it's those players really that are kind of letting it down a little bit. Like there was no response on that power play. Like, let's settle this game down and win it. And then, not throwing out Halliday doesn't make sense, man. Especially throwing him out there in that situation. It's just not fair to the player in a game with the first goal.
It's bad coaching. And he was asked after the game by Julian McKenzie about the penalty kill. And he's like, I'm not going to talk about the penalty kill. We've done it enough. Well, it wouldn't be a topic if you actually killed penalties. The Nashville Predators had a better power play percentage than they did face-off percentage in tonight's game. Senators cleaned them out. Nashville only won 28% of the face-offs, but they go 2 for 5 on the power play. And for all the work that Ottawa did, 2 of the 5 penalties they killed was the double minor to Fabian Zetterlund, the high sticking play there. You do all that work, just have a brutal line change and give up a rush the other way. It felt like it was just so much of the team shooting themselves in the foot. So it's there are a lot of passengers. Fabian Zetterlund's one of them. This guy's in a prime spot in the lineup right now, and he's just not producing. They need him to produce, and he's not doing anything on the ice of substance. The only time I noticed him tonight was the double minor. He needs to be better, and there's a lot of guys you can go down the list. But the fact that it's Nick Jensen that makes a boneheaded play behind the net, he was like stopping to get to the puck. He knew all along all he wanted to do was create a scrum behind the net. Well, that's not going to do anything for you. You're playing not to lose instead of playing to win. And Ottawa got absolutely hosed in the third period. And you know what the shot attempts were 5-on-5 in the third period? It was 18-3 for the Nashville Predators, 23-8 overall shot attempts in the third period of this game, 4-0 the score. Ottawa was winning 3-1 going into that third period. It's an issue that has me really concerned about the coaching of this team. And I know there had been people talking more so about the assistants and Nolan Baumgartner, who runs the defense and the penalty kill, but like, Travis Green's got to wake up here because he's letting the season slip away, and it might be over at this point. Like, I know it's weird to say after they get points in 5 straight, 3-0-2 coming into this game in their last 5, but they needed this one, and the way they're letting points slip away, there's 3 games that come to mind right away. Tonight, Minnesota, and that Islanders game in November where you don't even get a point and you let in the game-winning goal in the final minute and a half. The good teams find a way to win. Bad teams find a way to lose. And that's kind of where I'm at with this team right now, Marshy.
Yeah, I would even throw in that Montreal game there as well, Ross. But I mean, like, it's just like bad trends, bad mojo, bad energy, I think, all around here. And when you say the season's slipping away, look at their next 3 games, Ross. They got Carolina, Vegas, and Colorado. Like, that is going to be a gauntlet right there. If it's not over right now, it could be easily over after those 3 games, because if they go 0-3 there, it's completely finished.
Yeah. It really is. Jack, where are you at with this season? Like, do you still think they've got a shot here? Because everybody's winning around them still.
Yeah, like technically they do, boys. And honestly, like at this time in the season, points matter. So if they snuck this game to overtime, lose that one, I'm probably taking more of a stance of like a ref talk kind of night, because I think you have to mention, and this is why it's so frustrating with the top guys and I'm talking about Timmy, that comes to mind first. He lets the refs affect his play way too much, man. And it bleeds into the whole team. Like the amount of momentum swings that happened in that game, which were frustrating. I was live. I was saying it, like the refs handed Nashville so much momentum. Zetterlund's was a penalty. The one that ends up being the game tying goal, Timmy's on Stamkos, was a ridiculous penalty call after missing one on Timmy before. But the problem is the players can't let that get to them, and they do. And they're still showing signs of immaturity. It just reminded me so much of game 1 against Toronto in the playoffs, boys. Like, it was penalty after penalty, questionable calls maybe, and then they end up in the back of your net right away. They can't get out of their way momentum-wise, and that's kind of why I'm sitting here feeling pretty down about their season, because they haven't proved that they're able to kind of put bad losses behind them. They go on these streaks, losing streaks. You mentioned the schedule coming up. There's no reason to believe that this is going to turn around or they'll snap out of it quickly, because quite frankly, this team doesn't do that. So I don't feel great about it, boys, but crazier things have happened in this market, making the playoffs. Bigger runs have happened. It might be one of those years they just don't have it. And even when you get to overtime, let's think about that. If they get to overtime, they're 2-7 this year. They've been terrible in 3-on-3. So I wasn't even confident there. It's just complete opposite of last season. And it sucks because they wasted a good game by Reimer. I thought he was fine.
I thought James Reimer's good.
You kind of said something there, Jack, that, like, it makes sense. It's Tim Stützle. I remember saying earlier in the season during one of the postcasts that I thought he was doing a better job at that time of not letting the refs affect him. He would kind of just look and brush it off and not complain. But you're right about tonight. Like, his frustration was pretty clear, and I think the rest of the team's frustration was clear as well. And it takes me back to thinking about how football players are, right? Like, when you take a big hit, you get up. You don't let them know that you felt it, right? But when you're the Nashville Predators and you're watching the Ottawa Senators and their body language, you go, we got these guys. These guys are rattled. They're hurt. Like, we got them here. We can come back in this game. We've got them right where we want them, kind of thing. So I think that just not showing that frustration, it affects both teams, right? It affects your own team because everybody's like, well, this is garbage and this is crap. We're getting screwed. And then the other team's going, we got to friggin' own this, right? We got to take over here because these guys are all messed up in the head. We've got them mentally here.
Yeah, it was an embarrassing collapse. But I mean, Nashville was frustrated too. Like, Stamkos had a hissy fit, and Michael McCarron had a hissy fit going to the box as well. Like, Ottawa it was a very immature game tonight for sure. And there's plenty more to get into. We'll talk about the Achilles heels of this team, and will Steve Staios do anything, or are the only moves this guy makes switching up who the backup goalie is at this point? And we'll get to Sens Central standouts. There were a couple of good players in tonight's game. You're listening to the Postcast presented by Locked On Senators. Postcast always brought to you by our friends over at the Glebe Central Pub. Check out the GCP for great food, awesome drinks, and atmosphere to match. It's at 779 Bank Street. And when you head there, let them know that Locked On Senator sent you. You can also jump on the Glebe Central Pub shuttle. Just $18 round trip to and from the CTC. You can get your tickets online, GlebeCentralPub.com. They've got tickets available for all of the 4 games on this upcoming homestand. That means Saturday night against the Carolina Hurricanes, Sunday against the Vegas Golden Knights. Next Wednesday will be against the Colorado Avalanche, and then the New Jersey Devils come to town. So head to the place where the vibes are free. That is the Glebe Central Pub, and live music every Saturday night with no cover ever. It's our good friends at the Glebe Central Pub. Go visit them at 779 Bank Street and let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. Tonight's postcast is also brought to you by Game Time. Game Time has amazing deals on the best tickets available because there's nothing like being near the ice during hockey season. The speed, the hits, the atmosphere, it's all unmatched. Watching at home's cool, but being in the building is completely different, boots on the ground. That's why Game Time gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the hack to unlock amazing NHL tickets and experiences in just a few taps. One of my favorite features is seeing the view from the seat. You can see exactly what you're going to be in front of. The zone deals are clutch too. And knowing that the tickets are backed by the Game Time guarantee gives real peace of mind. So take the guesswork of buying NHL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL. That's LOCKEDON NHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Welcome back to the Postcast. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Jack Richardson and the Martian. You can follow us all on social media. The links are in the description below. Tonight, the Ottawa Senators fall 5-3 to the Nashville Predators in a game they were up 3-0 with a minute and a half left in the second period. Stamkos gets a power play goal. They start feeling good about themselves going into intermission. And then the onslaught came starting 8 minutes in to the third period, and it didn't let up from there. It went from 3-1 to a tie game in the span of less than 2 minutes. The shots on goal tonight tied at 26. Ottawa goes 0 for 3 on the power play. Got to update the graphic here. 2 for 5. Nashville went on their man advantage. The rest of the numbers are all correct. 71% the Sens go in the faceoff dot. Nashville with 23 hits to Ottawa's 16, and Ottawa had 11 blocks to Nashville's 9. And at 5-on-5, the expected goals percentage, 57.5% in favor of the Predators, and that includes an expected goals percentage at 5-on-5 in the third period of 88.2%. Marshy, what else stood out from you for tonight's game?
Oh man, it's tough to think about. I hate to do this, but I think about, you know, those big guys and who wasn't up to snuff tonight for me. We mentioned Zetterlund. I think Batherson was a bit of a ghost tonight. Zetterlund was a ghost tonight. And Giroux was a ghost tonight for me. Like, those guys were, all three of them were invisible out there. I made the reference in the chat here. I mean, they were Harry Potter in the restricted section. But then I also look to the biggest big boy we've got in Brady Tkachuk as well. And I'm beginning to think that this guy's getting closer and closer to the Olympics, and his game is just not there at all for me. And I don't know if he's trying to make sure that he doesn't get hurt for the Olympics, but I'm starting to question a little bit because, you know, he says all the right things in the media. He's really good at that, but his on ice does not back up anything he says for the most part right now. And I'm starting to think that for me, it's a little bit of Brady looking out for Brady and trying to get himself to the Olympics rather than putting the team in front of his own play right now. He's just not doing it, boys.
First period, but I get what you're saying. His stat line tonight's awful. No points, no shots, no hits, no takeaways.
No, nothing.
One.
Nothing.
His highlight was breaking his stick on the post when they lost the game. Like,
I don't like that either. I mean, I get it. You're frustrated. You want to show a little emotion, but like, who was it? It was actually Nashville, wasn't it? Was it?
No, Florida, but it was a guy who used to play for Nashville. Keith Ballard. You're thinking when he smoked Vogoon.
Yes, thank you, Ross. Yes, exactly. Like that. Well, that's the last thing we need is for Brady Tkachuk to slam his stick off. He was pretty careful about it. It looked like, but he smashed his stick off that post. Imagine that stick ends up hitting Reimer in the head. We're down another goalie.
I mean, we got Shep Bud Daddy in that.
Martian, Jensen's taking the heat for that goal as he should, because it was his giveaway or lost battle, let's say. But
bad there too.
Brady's right in front too, and he's not getting any heat. I'm noticing, and right, like my first reaction was Jensen too, but you watch that replay, he uses his foot, doesn't get stick on puck, and it's in the back of the net. Like, I think that's a fine thing to mention, and like, obviously it's speculation to say he's holding himself back for the Olympics, but you have to speculate because he hasn't been playing his best hockey for consistent stretches. There's been moments like the first period.
It's 7 points in his last 3 games.
He's been great, but Ross, it's been too inconsistent from Brady. I think you can look at other players on the team and say that they're bringing it. Like, Timmy was frustrating for me tonight. He's bringing it still. He's rushing up the ice, doing what he does best. There hasn't been enough physicality from Tkachuk. No hits is crazy.
The difference is going to be, Ross, as soon as he steps on that Olympic ice surface, we're going to be looking at a completely different player than we looked at tonight.
And if and when that happens, I'll be pissed.
It's going to happen.
I think just with the style,
take it to a new level.
With his style, it's hard to not assume that's what's happening, because it has been completely. There's been games where it's just been completely like pedestrian from him sometimes, and it's just uncharacteristic from Brady.
Yeah,
that's what it boils down to me.
But I mean, this doesn't even come down to that if the penalty kill goes better than 60%.
The PK, man, holy, like they can't kill a penalty. They can't kill a penalty. That could change the game right there if they kill that penalty at the end of the second, or they kill a penalty in the third. That's why I talk about when they can't battle through adversity. You're going to have nights where the whistle isn't favorable, but the fact that they can't kill a penalty compounds that, man. Like, 2 goals against Montreal, 2 goals against Detroit on the power play. Nothing against Columbus, you win the game. 1 goal against. It's such an issue. And the fact that there's been no accountability coaching-wise for that penalty kill, which sunk them in the playoffs too. Lost that series because of the PK. It's just a joke.
So let me ask you this. You're Steve Staios. What do you do right now as the team comes home for 4 games?
The best thing you could do is try to get that first-round pick back right now, by the way that things are going. I mean, that's the biggest asset they could possibly acquire right now is that first round pick, just based on where this team is trending. But I mean, what can you do? We've been talking about this too. The underlying numbers for this team is incredible, and we point to the goaltending as being the big issue. James Reimer seems to be better than every option that we've seen for this team this year. I mean, Linus Ullmark's going to need to take his time getting himself right, but I mean, him coming back and playing well would be a huge acquisition in itself. And I mean, other than that, it's like maybe you just need to shake this group up somehow and ship someone out and bring someone new in and get some fresh blood in there and hope for the best. But it's going to be an uphill climb no matter what, Ross.
Oh, big time uphill climb. But and it's if and buts or candies and nuts and everything. But if they were able to hold on to this game, they would have jumped so many teams in the standings.
Yeah. The thing is, they can shock us with a win on Saturday, boys. Like that, it's going to be game to game. But the way this game happened is just so unacceptable. With the last 2 games, blown leads and stuff, and the fact that they're playing well and then blowing these leads in situations they should be comfortable in.
Yeah,
this could have been a 6-game heater. They were up 2 goals.
The thing about the postcast too, right, is it's a little bit like Jake Sanderson's interview about a week ago,
totally.
Right after the game, where it's high emotions, it's reactionary as it could possibly be. Like if you wait till tomorrow, you and Pilsy Ross are going to be looking at this a little bit differently, I think, than I know we're being negative, but this is event cast, right? This is what we're doing. And at the time, this moment, me and Pilsy just 2 days ago were in a great mood over how these guys were going and how things were looking up a little bit, and 2 days later now I just don't feel even close to the same way, and it's because of just the way this team played tonight. So you're right, Jack, it's going to be game to game.
This is the first time, according to Sportsnet stats, that the Senators have lost when they had a 3-goal lead since Jacques Martin's second debut behind the bench in Arizona at Mullet Arena, where they had that big first period. I think Angus Crookshank scored his first NHL goal, so a bit of parallel with Stephen Halliday, a couple friends of the show, scoring their first career goal, and then they just completely shot themselves in the foot. And I mean, this regime, because I'm not, this is Staios, this is Travis Green, has just preached accountability, but we haven't really actually seen it. Because Nick Jensen was healthy scratch for 1 game, 2 games at separate times throughout the season.
Yeah.
Whereas Nicholas Matenpala, trust me, this isn't the one move that's going to save the Senators season. What the hell has this guy got to do to get back in the lineup? He's played 3 games since Christmas and 1 game since the New Year, and they threw him in against Colorado, and he was fine.
Was he a +1 in that game?
He might have been. No, Clevin was +1. I think he was even or whatever. But he was perfectly fine. But you have Nick Jensen, who is legitimately hurting your team more nights than not, and where's the accountability? We keep hearing about accountability. Where's the PK accountability? They've been rolling the same guys out there over and over again. And you can blame the goaltending.
I forgot about Matenpala.
Dude, this guy, he's going to be going to the Olympics too. He doesn't have to worry about saving himself.
No, he doesn't have to. He's just chilling in the press box. That'd be a good move. Do that. Just pull Jensen out of there and just say, hey, you messed up last game. You're out. Here's, big Nicholas Matenpala. He can bring a lot. I think we will see him in this stretch too, because that big body is something that you want out there against, Carolina, who's got a smaller forward group, and then Colorado kind of on the other side of it, the larger forward group. You want to have a little more size on your back end too. There is no reason for Matenpala to not be in there over Nick Jensen at this point.
And then if he comes back and plays bad, they're like, oh, well, he hasn't played in a while. Well, whose fault's that?
Exactly.
The more this season goes, the more that I'm really starting to question Travis Green's ability to coach a winning team. And we'll talk about it more next. Get the Sens Central standouts. You'll listen to the Postcast presented by Locked On Senators. Welcome back to the Postcast. I'm Ross Levitan alongside the Martian and Jack Richardson. You can follow all of our socials in the handle below. Shout out to the over 300 citizens that are venting, raging, defeated with us after the Senators blow a 3-0 lead in a game. Just absolutely pathetic, inexcusable. And I mean this when I say something has to happen, because all we've seen change is the backup goalie. And they put Reimer in. Good move. Hey, you could say it was a little late, but good move. He's been solid. He was good tonight. I don't blame him at all. And he ends up finishing the night with a brutal save percentage. Not his fault one bit. I truly believe that. He allowed 2 goals at even strength, the 2 power play goals, no chance on. I didn't think he had a real chance on the one in front there at the end. Stamkos bats it out of the midair. As we already alluded to, Jensen can't get the puck out behind the net. This makes a conscious decision that he's just not going to. And then Brady Tkachuk gets stick on skate instead of stick on puck, and away she goes. Should we do Sens Central standouts, or you guys have some more venting to do beforehand?
No, let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Yeah.
All right. I was going to take it right off the bat. You know what, Jack?
Go for it, buddy.
Jack battled the entire live stream through that third period. Jack, who's your Sens Central standout?
I wish I could say thank you for the kind words, but it's my choice, fellas. I'm doing it to myself. The losses I've watched live have been remarkable. I'm going to go with Ridley Gregg, man. That guy's been so good lately. And how many guys have stepped up? Can you say have stepped up in the past month? It's Ridley Gregg. It stops on that list. I think he's taken his game to another level at a time when they needed it the most, and he's producing with the league's elite at 5-on-5. His skating legs are there. He's just been such a pest too in the scrums every time. And I can't say enough good things about Ridley Gregg's game. And it's unfortunate that it's been kind of overshadowed by this soap opera going on with the Senators and blowing leads and the crease and everything going on. So I've been really impressed with Ridley Gregg, bright spot in a dark time.
Yeah, and his goal tonight was beautiful, right, Jack? And I think he could have had a second one there too. It's like that. What happened to the continuation of play?
It went in, yeah. That was kind of skipped over.
It went in before the whistle, and yeah, it seemed to me like that could have counted. I guess there's no chance for the Ottawa Senators to be able to challenge it, right? Like that was not one of those ones where they waved it off for goalie interference, and then the Sens could challenge it back. It was just kind of just waved off, and I guess you just carry on from there. Ridley had an awesome game. He's driving the net like a machine. He's pissing people off. He's doing what he does.
One more thing on Gregg. When it's 3-3, and I'm talking about the top guys going out there and setting the tone, what does Ridley Gregg do? He goes out, drives the net, draws a penalty, and then he's not on the power play to see it through. I think this guy's just stepping up, man. He's a gamer. He's a gamer, and I'm glad that they've got him locked up at a good term here because he's just starting to come into his own in the NHL.
Yeah, I really, really liked Ridley Gregg's performance tonight. Marshy, who you got for yours?
I'll go ahead and I'll take Stephen Halliday. I think, just getting your first NHL goal is a really great accomplishment. You could tell he was really fired up. It came at a great time in the game. I thought he was chugging along really nicely. He had a few really good creative plays as well. Unfortunately, as we mentioned earlier, only had 9 minutes on ice tonight, but he had 3 shots, 1 hit. I mean, he was great. I liked his game. I like his game, and I hope that we see more of him. And I think that he's one of those guys, like, he's only going to get better now at this point. He's getting more comfortable in the NHL. You can tell this is his second or third now call up. He's got a bunch of games under his belt. He is starting to settle in, and I think definitely at least next season he's going to be a full-time NHLer by then, if not sooner. So I'm going to go with Stephen Halliday. I like his vibe out there. He's a big boy, big body. He can play both ways, right? He can do the gritty stuff and play that fourth line role. But I think that eventually, if you start tossing him in the top 6, he's going to be a producer more than he has been as well.
Yeah, well, I think the time could have been tonight to get him a few shifts there because, Zetterlund is technically in the top 6, but Zetterlund finishes tonight's game playing 10 minutes and 38 seconds. Stephen Halliday, I agree with you that he should be a standout tonight. 3 shots on goal, had a hit as well. Big hit, actually. He got a lot of his man there in the first period and gets his first goal. What's he rewarded with? 9 minutes of ice time in this game. Wow. 9 minutes. That's all he got. The least by a full minute, more or less than anybody else. 13 shifts in this game. Nobody else forward-wise played 15 or less. That was Zetterlund, and then 16 each for Eller and Nick Cousins. So, yeah, good call there. I'm glad you left this guy for me because lost in what was a very disappointing night. I thought Dylan Cousins had a strong game, not just the tip in to extend his point streak to 5 games. He's got 7 points over the last 5 games. What I really want to hammer home for Dylan Cousins' performance tonight was the block he had in the third period when it was tied. He just sold out, huge block. That's more of what this team needs, is guys willing to go that extra mile to be able to help the team to success. He had 4 hits, 3 shots, and a block tonight, 60% in the faceoff dot, and played 16-39. So I think that Dylan Cousins is on a heater for sure. We know that he's a bit of a streaky scorer for sure, especially at 5-on-5, and thought it was a nice tip in there for him for his goal.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Cousins has been great. He's really woken up, and no coincidence, as soon as he was moved with Ridley Gregg, he wakes up, because that guy's been a spark plug for anyone he's playing with this season. One more guy we need to mention, because this slump has gone under the radar by a lot of fans. He had an assist tonight, so he's a bit back on the score sheet. Back-to-back games. Michael Amadio has 1 goal in 34 games, boys. 1 goal in 2 months of hockey with all the hockey they're playing. He hasn't been good enough. And I was talking to Pilsy about this. It's not just the goal scoring. I'm noticing with Amadio, he's losing puck battles now way more often than he was at the beginning of the season, where you're looking at a guy who's such a value player, and then it turns into that. It's just been really disappointing for him. Another guy, depth guy, who hasn't been showing up lately.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's been getting tired, maybe, I think. They've been using him a ton, right?
A lot of hockey.
A lot of hockey. Maybe they just kind of wore him out. I mean, going into this season, and, we know what Michael Amadio is, and he shouldn't really be in your top 6 consistently the way he's kind of been used. So, I mean, I'm not I know that that's a brutal slump, but at the same time, it's Michael Amadio.
Yeah, he's not like the problem. It's just like, if he's not doing well defensively in puck battles, it's kind of like, what do you do here, kind of thing.
Yeah,
he's been really struggling lately.
Led the team in giveaways tonight. He had 3 of those, and I feel like he's still hounding pucks. Like, he had a good takeaway in the third period tonight, but like he's struggling with the puck on his stick. It's like it's just kind of finding its way off of it whenever he gets it. So he's got to clean that up for sure. And Marshy mentioned off the top too, like Claude Giroux was not good in this game either.
No. Oh, speaking of puck on your stick and being brutal, though, James Reimer needs to stay in the net. He's such a bad puck handling goalie.
He got lucky a couple times.
Holy crap.
One guy that I think has been struggling lately, I'll go to a little bit positive. I thought Pinto looked a bit more engaged offensively, but you mentioned those 2 wingers. As a centerman, if your wingers are really struggling, it's really hard to do anything. I thought Pinto was around it a bit more, like a step in the right direction, but he still wasn't good enough overall. Again, he hit the post
early.
Yeah, like he looked a bit better, so like that's a positive. I'd like to see Pinto. The lines are going to be in a blender on Saturday anyway, so we'll see what they do.
For sure.
That's Travis Green's way.
I'm just really struggling with Travis Green right now, and I don't think that it's going to change anytime soon. I don't think that anybody is up in arms saying you need to change the coach. I did see the chat mention that Pete DeBoer is just sitting at home, a guy with a long track record of success. But at the end of the day, they just have to look themselves in the mirror and be better. I think that's honestly what it comes down to right now is how much do you want it? Do you want it? Because the way they kind of took their foot off the gas, like when you're on the road, like if you're at home and you get up 3, I get kind of just lulling the game to bed and just kind of get it going. But like 1 goal and that early in a game when you go up 3, and you see that often, like it's not just the Senators problem, but where you go up 3 in a game and all of a sudden the other team gets 1, gets a little momentum, all of a sudden it's another one, and then it's full chaos. And the pace in the third period really picked up once it became a 3-2 game, and then ultimately 3-3. It was still very, very fast back and forth. Like, you cannot let a home team get their crowd into it. Like, do you think it's like a mental thing, like we have enough of a lead, or is it like if we just keep doing? I don't understand it, but it happens all the time where a team just takes the foot off the gas and the other team comes back. Or are they trying not to embarrass the other team? It's like, oh, we don't want to go up 4 or 5. No, you have to.
And it's weird, right, Ross? Because you made the, being on the road, they're on their own, right? Like you're in Nashville. There's not many Senators fans in there. I mean, it's Dr. Bob and his fiance, and that's about it. And when you're at home, and you can kind of do that because your crowd will carry you through a little bit better. But yeah, you're absolutely right. They just need to keep their foot on the pedal and keep playing exactly how they've been playing. They changed their game, like going into that third period. I don't think it's about not trying to embarrass the other team. It's more just like thinking that they can shut it down and changing the way that they're playing when they could realistically probably just keep playing exactly how they were, try to score goals. You probably will score 1 or 2, and then you're in a much better spot than if you're just trying to sit back being a shutdown team. That's clearly not their game.
Yeah, it's brutal. Let's take a look at the chat here. Adam writes in. He says, I think I'm done. I don't know if it's roster or coaching, but people need to leave. If they asked me to renew season tickets, I might say no over piss poor efforts. And this was a road game, but boys, Sens are 11-9-4 at the CTC. That means that the fans are leaving the CTC after a loss twice more than the win. And if you look last year, they had, I think, the 7th or 8th best home record in the National Hockey League. So I get your frustration, Adam. Brian writes in, the team's mentally weak and is now part of their culture. And that's a huge problem to fix. Look, let's see how these next 3 games go. I think the confidence is at an all-time low right now for the season. But if you can somehow pull a 3-0 run there against those teams, all of a sudden everybody's going to be right back in. So I'm with Jack in terms of there's lots of hockey left, but the team is giving no reason for confidence for that. We've got an absolute beauty joining the show, a recurring guest on the show, and he's boots on the ground tonight. Nate Diordio, what's going on, buddy? Tough night at the office, eh?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'd kind of counted the win after about 40 minutes into the game, and then the third period was a pretty brutal surprise.
Were you being noisy in your section too and took some heat afterwards, or how'd it go around you with all the Preds fans?
Yeah, we had a group of 2 Sens fans in front of me and a couple next to me, so we were getting a little rowdy together, and we definitely sat quiet for the third period. They were definitely giving it to us, especially with a hat-trick goal.
Oh, man. So what'd you see? Like, how did this all fall apart?
It seemed like some missed calls. It seemed like the Kachuk, it seemed like he kind of got taken down as he had kind of crashed into the net. Stutzla got taken down. Those didn't get called. And then the Preds had a couple power plays, I think, immediately after that. And it kind of flipped the momentum. The Sens were looking for calls, didn't get them, and the Preds got the calls right after. And then obviously that terrible change from the 2-0. And I don't know. The fans were into the game, so the momentum just really, really flipped.
Did you? Were there a lot of Sens fans there? Like it looked like a few, a good amount. But what was the presence like? And obviously that just means that more people went home disappointed than we'd like. But it seemed like a decent presence.
Yeah, I'd say I saw at least somewhere in the 30 to 40 range, just walking around the concourse and kind of looking into the crowd, seeing some jerseys, and there was probably a good 15 to 20 people on the glass during warm-ups.
Nate, this is a tough one because I know there wasn't a ton of huge standouts out there, but if there was one guy for you tonight, who was your Sens Central standout out there?
I mean, at least through the first 2 periods, I'd say Reimer. He had some pretty incredible saves to keep it a 3-0 game early on, and I think a couple even after their first goal. And then I have to shout out Holiday for his first NHL goal. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's awesome that you got to be there for that. Do you have like a fix for this team? Like we just keep kind of talking about some of the decisions and some of the problems on this team that keep rearing their ugly head. Like if you were in charge, man, what would you do right now to try to right the ship?
I think I'd go the route of patience with the goaltenders with Allmark and possibly try to acquire a solid 1B in the offseason because it seems like the team, just based off analytics and numbers and how they look, is playing pretty well, but they can't really get the backstops. And then I have no clue how to fix the PK. That one kind of puzzles me.
I mean, the one way to fix it, Nate, is just stop taking so many dumb penalties.
Yeah, and Zetterlund's was kind of tough. It seemed like the dude kind of dove into his blade. He'd kind of jumped up as Zetterlund was reaching for the puck. Just a bad situation, but
he's also barely bleeding too. Not to go ref talk again, but it was like a little. It was like he had a pimple on a pop or something. I'm not kidding, boys. Did you see it? Usually those guys are leaking. Their teeth are gone. He had a little.
I know they're making a whole show out of it. They're coming around with a little Q-tip.
I
know that. Yeah, that's disgusting. So funny that Jack. That was the line of the postcast. He was barely bleeding.
Yeah,
he was
barely.
Man. That's what the chat was saying in the watch party. Anyway, just wanted to.
It's so funny.
I wish I could bitch about the
refs. Live, I thought the puck had hit him. I thought they were going to review it and call it back, and then after the third time I saw it, I was like, "Yeah, maybe his stick did brush him a little bit."
Yeah, maybe it did. Damn, dude. Are you getting at any other games rest this season, Nate?
We may hit a couple other Preds games, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to make another Sens game. I know they're playing the Canes, which is my wife's team, Saturday, and then they're in Carolina. I think it's February 3rd before the Olympic break. but I'm not sure if we're going to be able to make the trip for that. We're getting some ice storms down here, which is they don't do well down here with that, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we just call that Friday, Nate.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we appreciate you jumping on, man, giving us a little boots on the ground report. We really appreciate you. Everybody can go shoot you a follow on social media at ND Oreos. I like that. You deserve a couple Oreos after sitting through that one tonight. We appreciate you, though, brother.
Absolutely. I was looking forward to bragging about a 3-0 boots on the ground.
I know. I remember last year you had a great win. I think it was a shutout win they had in Nashville too, wasn't it, last year?
The Carolina
3-1?
game. Carolina game was the shutout, and then it was like a 5-2-1 here. So we'll have to set the record straight next year.
Next year, buddy. Awesome. Well, we appreciate you, brother. We'll talk soon.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
All right, there he goes. Nate Diordio. What an absolute beauty, man. I love the Sens fans that come from all over. A little Southern drawl on tonight's Postcast. That was awesome. Final thoughts on tonight's show, Jack?
Nothing, boys. Just on to the next. Just wash that one down the drain. Hope that's a quiet plane ride coming back to Ottawa and they can land in the -30 weather expecting in the area and soak in that weather for a homestand because they need some wins.
Well, hey, take snow over a hurricane though, right, Jack?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I think so. I don't know,
Hey,
man. We'll see.
Boys, how about we haven't seen this from the Sens in a long time? What about a players only meeting?
Ooh.
Is it time for a players only?
We're
Shut
close,
the
man.
doors. Let's, batten the hatches here. Get the boys, just all the boys together. No
Couple
coaches.
FUs.
Let's get each other, maybe a practice fight, something like that. Get the boys going. I know they're not going to have a lot of chances to practice, but hey, we got to get creative here. We got to look within, and maybe a players only meeting is the way to go.
Yeah, it's super unfortunate. But wait, look, you got to have some sort of hope. Like again, they played well enough for parts of this game, but the hope is fading quickly because this team just can't get it done, and every other East team just finds ways to win, especially when they're playing the Western Conference. Like tonight in East versus West games, Columbus beat Dallas, Florida beat Winnipeg. You had Pittsburgh beat the Edmonton Oilers. You had Boston beat the Vegas Golden Knights. You also had both teams, Boston being one of them, Buffalo the other, both teams in a wild card spot today. Both got wins. Detroit is currently tied 3-3 with 8 minutes left against Minnesota. So everybody else is winning, and Ottawa just finds ways to shoot themselves in the foot. Marcia, you got any final thoughts on this one?
I thought I just gave them with the players only.
Okay. I like that, actually. Yeah. Second best thing said on the Postcast after barely bleeding.
Check the tape.
I barely got a tattoo, but I woke up the next day, it was still there.
I think I saw someone in the chat say he had chapped lips, and that's why. And then someone else said he cut himself shaving.
Oh, that's what it looked like.
It was like a little nick. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a little bit. So
it was better though than Chris Tanev trying to literally make himself bleed in the playoffs there in overtime of Game 4.
Yeah. I have one more thought on James Reimer. I can't believe we didn't mention him in the standouts. Nate, good call there. He's played 3 games now, 3 straight games. In 2 of them, he's bailed them out, got them a point in 1 of them. Like he has not played for the team that we all thought he was going to be playing for. They have not played well enough in front of Reimer. It's been brutal.
No, yeah, kind of funny. Like before with Maryland, it was like they were giving up too little, and then the shots against are climbing now in the last couple of games. So very, very interesting situation the Senators find them in. Pilsy will give his thoughts on it all tomorrow, and we'll be previewing the weekend with our good friend Mike Kelly from Sport Logic is going to stop by the show tomorrow, and I wish it was under a little better circumstances, but he'll make sense of what the heck we just witnessed tonight. A 5-3 loss against Nashville when Ottawa was up 3-0. For Jack Richardson and Lalim's Martian, I'm Ross Levitan. Thank you so much for listening, watching, engaging with the Postcast. All the citizens that join us live after each and every game on YouTube. And if you're listening to this, thank you very much. We appreciate that. This has been another Postcast presented by the Locked On Senators podcast and the Glebe Central Pub. Let's get some GSGs in the chat. Let's go. There's 30-some games. Let's get some GSGs in the chat so that I don't cry myself to sleep. But thank you for the chat, for being there for us. We appreciate it very, very much. Big week coming up in terms of games played. You got Saturday, you got Sunday. couple days off to breathe, then Wednesday, Saturday, before another big stretch before the Olympic break that will start 2 weeks today is their last game before the Olympics. 7 games before them. And we'll see if there's some movement off the ice, because the penalty kill and the Nick Jensen situation are the two remaining. They put the super glue there on the goaltending. They were able to get James Reimer in. He's been good. There's no issues with the goaltending in this loss or any of the others recently. The Detroit game, I guess, is really the only one that we're talking about. Columbus was a win, but penalty kill, Nick Jensen, 2 things to watch for going forward, as well as the ice time allocation. This part is brought to you by the Glebe Central Pub, as always, as I continue to ramble after already closing the show. So we'll save the rest for tomorrow's Locked On Senators podcast. Your team every day.